I'm Andrew Joseph Keith. I wanted to just show you, this is day 2. And I've worked through some of these details on this maquette that I showed you the beginning of it in my last video. I decided to go abstracted. So once I had the basic pose, I was debating, do I do it abstract or naturalistic? But I kind of like, this is kind of my style up to this point. Abstracted, basic proportions are pretty close, but the details are all abstracted given this linear, planar quality and kind of some geometric as well as organic shapes going together. And so that's kind of my style. That's what I like. That's what I find interesting. I might change it up. I also like to do the challenge of trying something naturalistic, realistic. Realism is really tricky, especially in stone. You can't put anything back, and so it takes some time. But it's so awesome when you see a piece of stone that looks like flesh, that looks like skin, or that looks like cloth. It's a really impressive thing when you can do that. Well, there's still some details that aren't quite solidified. I'm not sure if these lines in the back, if that's what I'm gonna go for. The hair, I'd like to do something that kind of goes along with the rest of these geometric planar shapes, and so something that goes wrong with the rest of this style. Another thing that I'm struggling with is just the line work as far as the suggestion of the breasts. I don't want it to be exactly the same on either one. I want it kind of for them to be some variation, but it's really tricky trying to find some line work like the other work, because in the other parts I can kind of follow the natural bony structures or the muscular structures and kind of gives me an indication of where to go with the lines. But the breasts are so rounded and everything, you kind of have to, I'll have to just make a choice, make it up, and put it there if that's what I'm gonna do. But I didn't want it to be symmetrical, because when it's symmetrical, there's a big statement, and this, like the line for the stomach and everything, it comes up, goes around. It's kind of an asymmetrical thing. The pose is very asymmetrical, and so I don't want it to pull attention to itself so much. Completely symmetrical and everything else was asymmetrical. It just wouldn't go with everything else. So yeah, I'm pretty excited for this one. I'm excited to get a piece of stone that'll work. You really want to have all the details worked out on the maquette first before you touch the stone, because if there's something that's not worked out and then you go and start on the stone, if you make a mistake, you only get one chance, and so you can't put anything back with stone. As far as time so far, I probably on this maquette, I kind of multitask. So sometimes me and my wife are watching television, or I'm listening to a book on tape or something like that. But total time that I've spent working on this has probably been around 6 hours or so, or maybe a little bit more. If I get tired of it, I go to something else and work on something else. But a maquette, it really can be a lot of time. Like, it's not just sculpting, creating the sculpture. It's all the time that you put in the maquette. It's all the time that you put into the sculpture and then creating the sculpture. Really, it's the time that you spent learning. We pay artists because they've spent the time to get proficient at that, or at least you'd hope that the artists that are making a living, that are doing well as artists, will have taken the time to become very proficient, very skilled at what they do. There are some artists that I'm just like, what the heck is that? What is that? And why did that sell for that much? With my stuff, I want it to be beautiful enough and aesthetically pleasing enough to where people are like, I get it. I get why that has value. I want people to see that I'm doing my best to create things of value. Something that's beautiful, that's interesting, and that they can have as a piece of art that they'll love forever. So that's really my goal as an artist, is to create things of value and just to do what I love. I just got done working. I was just working like 5 hours doing some yard work for a friend that has a huge property. It's like 40 acres, and so there's a lot of work to be done. And there is a huge value in just hard manual labor. I think people are losing sight of that these days, but there's a huge value in that. But I'd like to make a living doing something that I really enjoy. Obviously, manual labor, there's a value in it. It's important to be able to go out and work hard, even if it's something that you don't like. There's also a value in finding something that you do like, perfecting it, becoming very good at it, and making a living doing that. I want to be successful doing something that I love. If you have a name, still haven't figured out a name for this one, but I think it'll be a cool piece. I'm excited to get a piece of marble for this. If you like this kind of stuff, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. There'll be more to follow for sure. I'm gonna try to do 2 to 3 videos a week. I love doing them. If you have suggestions for videos or works of art, I'm open to that. We'll see you around.